Hello and welcome to the Soapbox Dad. My name is Kennedy and I am the Soapbox Dad. I'm here today to talk to you about another favorite tool of mine. I want to highlight the Stanley. I'm not being paid by Stanley. I don't do that. Well, I'll take anybody's money, but that's not what's happening here. This is a box knife, and we're here today to talk about the box knife and what my thinking is when it comes to which box knife I choose for myself, as you can see, and why I choose the type I choose, and what some of the differences are. We'll talk a little bit about that. I did not go out and buy all of the different types of box knives so that I can sit here and show you a bunch of box knives that I won't use. No, I own box knives of this type, and I'm going to talk them through, and you'll get to learn what my thinking is around them. So first of all, I want to just remind, if you've seen an episode before, or if this is your first, I have a perspective about being the person that's called to do these types of chores. And maybe you're a young person starting out on your own. You have no dad to do this with you, or your dad's far away, or maybe whatever brings you here. I'm not sure who you are or why you're here, but I know that you're here to learn a few things about some tools. So at any rate, my assumption will be that you intend to use tools or dad type of advice in your life. There you go. There's the point. And if you're doing jobs like this, you think that you're going to be doing jobs like this, then you also know, or are going to learn, that these jobs don't come at a time that you want them. That's what I'm trying to say. None of these chores come at a time that we want to do them. They show up when it's really cold outside, or when it's really hot outside, or something like this, but they don't show up in your garage with a neat, clean workspace and everything's good to go. That's not the reality of it. Things break when they're under tension, usually, and meaning my tool knife here, this knife is not going to break on its own sitting in my toolbox, generally speaking, right? My drill's not going to break in my toolbox. My hammer's not going to break. Nothing's going to break until you're using it. And when you're using these things, it's usually the least opportunistic time to have them breaking. That's the reality of it. So when I'm buying tools and kicking my tripod, but when I'm buying tools, this is how I'm thinking about things. I know that a pipe is going to burst and I'm going to be digging a ditch somewhere, and I'm going to be standing in it, maybe knee deep in water, and trying to work on something. Or I'm going to be in a really hot condition, or I'm going to be under a house, or I'm going to be in an attic. It's always going to be something like this. And whatever the problem is, it was an overtaxed system a lot of times, and it needs to be fixed, and it needs to be fixed right now. There's no time for tomorrow. There's no time. No, you can call somebody else, but if you're that kind of person, then you're not here on this show. So I do call people for certain jobs, but generally speaking, my own household chores, I do them on my own. And that sometimes can entail things like digging or being in attic spaces or under crawl spaces and things like this. So this brings me to my tool. Here I am. I have this box knife. And the reason I have this box knife is because I know I'm going to be wearing some of these guys when I'm doing this work. I carry gloves everywhere. This is dad tips for you. I keep gloves everywhere. I've got a couple pair in my truck, a pair for me, a pair for somebody else that's going to be helping me. I keep them on top of my chainsaw. I keep them in the garden shed. I keep gloves where I think I'm going to need them, and I worry that I won't take the time to go get them. And that's just the reality of it. And if you're going to be doing work around your place, you're going to need gloves. Go invest in some gloves. You're going to need them. I have my preferences. I have different types. I don't wear gloves like this when I run a chainsaw. I have a thicker pair of cowhide gloves that I wear when I do chainsaw work. This is around the house kind of stuff, and these are made out of lamb's skin. So there's lambskin leather gloves, and I really prefer lambskin gloves. So, okay, I know I'm going to be wearing gloves. Why did I just take that off? I put it on so I could demonstrate something to you, and then I took the damn thing off. Okay, so here we go. I've got this glove, and I'm holding this knife. Now, generally, when I'm working on things, what ends up happening is I'm end up holding something and keeping it in place while I have to cut something else. And you just end up in these odd situations. I don't know why, but where you've got to work this way. And remember, cut away from yourself. Don't cut towards yourself. But those situations have me thinking like, okay, do I really want to be operating a lock blade kind of mechanism where I've got to pull it apart, pull it and open it, and then I've got to work a mechanism to release and then close it back up when I'm cold or super hot or sweaty and I'm wearing gloves and things aren't going well, and I'm already having a bad day. And now I'm holding this thing and I've got to operate this other thing. Now, some people can do this kind of stuff. Some people can easily open and close those and so on. And good for them. I'm really happy for them. For me, it isn't quite so simple. Okay. I already know I've been in those situations with cumbersome tools and I didn't like it. So this is something that is large. I can find it in a tool bag or a pocket easily. I can get my hand around it easily. I can activate it with just one thumb to pull the blade out and again to put the blade away. When I'm done, I know I can safely put the blade away and then I can put the tool back where it belongs. I can put it in my lap. It's not going to cut me. The blade is not exposed. I had a friend of mine I was talking to this morning or this afternoon. I was telling him I was going to do this video. He says, the thing I don't like about the lock blade type is I don't trust those mechanisms, when I'm putting a lot of pressure into something and I just don't want another part to be able to fail. And I hear that concern too. So so there are many concerns about that style. Some people really enjoy them and I totally get why. And I'm going to cover why in a minute. But I understand why some people like them. These are my reasons and why I prefer this kind. And I have a few of these, but they're all going to be this kind. And there's a lot of safety reasons why. Here's another one that I have that I've already prepared by removing the screw so that we don't have to do this on film. And I can open it up and show you. And this is why so many people like the other type. The other type, when you open them up, they have a quick little mechanism for replacing the blade. And this particular type, you have to remove a screw. I don't mind. And then open it up and there'll be extra blades that you'll keep in the back in the handle and you'll just simply replace them. You'll pull it out here. You'll pull one out. We're going to see if I can cut myself on film today. The thing is that this is the second time that I've done this video today. And earlier I took the blade out and then I threw it over there on the floor and I haven't gone over to pick it up yet. And I forgot that I didn't have one in there when I was making this video, but that's okay. You get to watch me do it. So I'm going to put the blade in here and yeah, real safe, right? I threw one across the floor. Well, there's nobody else in here but me. And I know that I threw it over there. Of course, I just told you that I forgot that I'd done it. Anyway, so I put the blade, you just simply put the blade in here. And they're really not a hassle at all. You just put them in here. The only hassle is trying to do it while you're on film. It just goes in there like that. It's no hardship at all. The other blades go right back here in the handle. It all closes up nice and neat like this. You put the screw back in and you have an operational tool. So I don't mind that. It doesn't take me that long to do that. And anyway, so that's my choice. I prefer that. I also wanted to cover these while I was at it. They look like a mustache blade, but they're not a mustache blade. They're for roofing. Some people use them for other things like carpet and whatnot, but they're hooked. They're not sharp on the outside here. They're sharp inside this crook, and they're used for cutting shingles on a roof. And at any rate, if you see them, now you know what they are. I just happened to run across some when I was down in my garage picking up these tools so I could bring them up here to show them to you. And I thought, well, heck, I might as well explain to people what these things do too. At any rate, I prefer these for these reasons. I like to be able to reach in, get a hold of a tool easily, know that I can use it safely, put it back away, and so forth. Now, I want to tell you a quick story. There was a time I was not so safe and not so careful about what I was doing. And I ended up cutting myself. And I find myself down at the local ER. And the nurse that's helping me, I say to the nurse, the funny thing is I actually thought before I had cut myself, man, you probably shouldn't do it like this. You one little slip and you'll cut yourself. And I didn't change anything. I just kept doing it like that. And sure enough, that's what happened. And that nurse said to me, I hear that all the time, all the time. I'm like, really? Oh yeah. I hear it all the time. She says, people say that to me all the time. They knew that they were going to hurt themselves. They thought about it, and then they took the chance anyway. And what I'm telling you is, listen to your conscience. You have it for a reason. Don't be a knucklehead. If you're hearing your brain tell you, don't do this, it probably isn't safe. There's a reason why your brain is telling you that. So listen to your conscience. It's there for a reason. Pick the tool that works well for you. This is the one that works well for me, and those are the reasons that I prefer it. I think it's safer. I think it's easier to get a hold of. I think they're easier to work with in the types of situations that are very demanding when I need a tool to not fail on me. And for all of these reasons, I choose this style, this Stanley style of box knife. I've been very happy with it. A lot of people have been very happy with these for a lot of years. I have seen the newer ones. They look fancy. I'm not a fan, but maybe that's the kind that works for you. I'm not, at any rate, you're here on Soapbox Dad, and like I say, I am not the expert. We are all the experts. We are a collective body, and between all of us, we share enough information. We are the experts, not me, not a single person. So if you have thoughts to share, maybe you have another type that you like. Maybe there's something different that I haven't discussed at all that you think is a really great tool knife to use, please share. Please. I love to learn about new tools. I love to try new tools out. And like many of you, I have a collection of tools, but I can't buy them all. So I do prefer to get the one that will do multiple jobs and so forth. So if you have ideas or you know of other tools or you have other thoughts around this, please share in the comments down below and add to that collective intellect. At any rate, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming and joining me today, and we will see you next time.